Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Boston. This is the highlight of the trip for Scott. We are going to visit the USS Constitution and its museum. For those of you who are not sure, the USS Constitution is supposedly the oldest still commissioned ship in the United States. She dates back from the Revolution. I'm not sure if Washington named her or was aware of her name when they built her.
He was aware of the name.
He was aware of the name. Yeah. That's the story. Okay.
I think he approved it.
He approved the name USS Constitution. So anyway, she is an absolute treasure for the US Navy and the United States in general. She's fully restored too.
Yep.
And everything you see on board the ship is actually original but restored, I mean, you know, age. Superb ship. We're super excited. Navy boy here. I can't wait. And then after
It'll be
that,
the first commissioned ship I've been on in 30 years. So.
In 30 years.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear him because I have the microphone on my.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going there, then we'll do the museum. And the rest of the day, we're going to follow the little red brick road, also known as the Freedom Trail, and that's basically all of old Boston, including the cemeteries, Paul Revere's house. That's the highlight for me.
Backward on the Freedom Trail.
And we're doing it backward. You're supposed to start it all the way at the other end, at the park, Boston Commons, and end here. But because we're parking here, we are starting at the USS Constitution and doing our way down and then coming back here to pick up the car. So we'll do the Freedom Trail twice. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's okay because we'll get to see more sights. So I'll see you in a bit on board the ship. Our Navy boy here spotted a battleship. So look how fast his space picked up. We're gonna go check out the battleship. I think it's the Cove, USS Cove. I'm not sure. Which one is it? I don't even know if it's a battleship. If you're in the Navy and you're watching this, you're probably rolling your eyes. All right, so I had it all wrong. This is the USS Constitution, and it's a destroyer, according to Scott. Pretty neat. And this is what happens when you're the only lady on a trip. You basically trail them if there's guy stuff involved. And here we go, USS Constitution, a Fletcher-class destroyer built in San Pedro, California, commissioned December 31st, 43. The ship honors Captain Constitution, who earned the Medal of Honor at Pearl Harbor and later died in the Battle of Guadalcanal. And here are some stats. So here she is. We're about ready to go on board, and no mask required on the USS Constitution, and it's also free of charge. The museum you might have to pay, I don't know yet. But this one is free of charge, and it opens at 10 a.m. and it's a self-guided tour. You can spend as much time as you want on board the ship. So here we go. We already got Scott talking to sailors.
5 minutes.
He's gonna spend the whole day talking to sailors. That's cool. Listen, I'm just here to look at all the details, and I spotted this one here. Look at this. Look at the patina on this wood. This is beautiful. This is really nice. Okay, so we built a deck, and yes, I was correct. They do fire one cannon every day. That's blank. This is great. See, it's really well preserved. So what do you think they had in those barrels?
Emma.
Ammo? Yeah? Probably so. Let's see, there's some initials on top of the cannon here. And what do you suppose that was? Look, it's I don't know what it is. Some kind of, we'll have to ask Dad. I know nothing about Navy stuff, very obviously. The museum is really a kids' museum. So just so you know, if you don't have kids, you can probably skip. It's like one of those interactive where you pick a character and then you follow the life of your character. It's very well made, but even Willie was kind of like meh. So he went to buy pretzels at the shop, and we're gonna eat pretzels and wait for the other two. They are somewhere lost in there. They did have the china and the silver, I knew that, from the ship. And that's about it. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's closer to noon. Hold on. It's 1 o'clock. I told the guys we might have to cancel sailing tomorrow if we want to finish Boston. because I don't know if we're going to have time to do everything. It's already 1 o'clock. So we may come back to Boston tomorrow and ditch Salem. We weren't all that thrilled about going to Salem anyway. So that's the story. I'll see you in a bit.
It's a beautiful ship. It really is. It's amazing, and I'm glad I stopped and listened to the guy talk about how what life was like on the ship and how it worked and what kind of things they would do. It turns out that back then you didn't sign up for say 4 years or 5 years the way I did. You'd sign up for the voyage, and the voyage would last like a year. So you would go out, you'd hit a bunch of ports, of course, but you'd go out for that year, and then when you returned back home, you'd have to decide whether or not you wanted to stay in. Apparently they got paid very well for the time. He said it was like $8 a month, which would have been really good at that time. And he said that a lot of people were able to save up and buy houses with that if they did not spend their money in the ports. And a lot of the times, because they couldn't carry fruit on board, they would enter a port and then they would hit the banana boats and spend a lot of money on the fruit there. The other thing that they said was that they would keep rum on board, which they did not do when I was in, unfortunately. But the reason that they would do the rum was because they would be eating a lot of preserved foods. They would preserve the meat and salt, and the rum would help them clean out their mouth at the end of the day and keep them from getting gum disease and so forth. So we got to buy some rum.
Okay, here we go. Boom! We are following the Freedom Trail all the way to the State House. It's going to take about 2 hours, and what we want to do is grab food on the way there because we are going to stop by Paul Revere's house and Fagno. How'd you say it? Fagno?
What?
Fagno?
Fagno.
That's what happens when you have English as a second language. When French words come over, you can't pronounce them. Okay, Fagno Hall closes at 5, and we want to get some clam chowder. We've been here, this is our 3rd day, we still haven't been able to get clam chowder. Why? Because every time we want clam chowder, they are out of clam chowder. So hopefully there's a place called Boston Chowder, and they specialize in clam chowder, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We are in search of clam chowder. So we're gonna walk all the way there. There's a bridge to cross, go through the financial district. It's old Boston, by the way, the Freedom Trail. So we're gonna see plenty of sights. And I did buy a bag. I don't know if you can see it, to carry all my stuff. I was tired of carrying my shoulder bag that has the USS Constitution on it. It's pretty cool. And Scott purchased the USS Constitution naval hat, and the kids got candy. So there you have it, on our way to the Freedom Trail. Our first stop on the trail is Copp's Hill Burying Ground, and I think you can read, but there's a lot of people in here who are actually tombs from the time of the Revolution. See, 1793, that's a little bit after that, but most of the tombstones here are from the 1700s. And we love cemeteries. So, Willie, how come some of them have American flags and others don't? Who gets to have the flag?
They probably fought there.
Either that or they were soldiers, right? But since this is 1700, they must have fought in the Revolution, right? So let's look at one. in memory of Mrs. Seth Romney, who died suddenly January 13, 1804, at the age of 56, the late amiable consort of Captain Edward Romney. A consort was a wife. We are arriving at Old North Church. And what's the big deal? The belfry is the big deal. When Paul Revere had an inkling that the British were coming, the very famous lanterns, one if by land, two if by sea, was supposed to be on top of the belfry right here. So this is where Newman, I think was his name, alerted the rebels that the British troops were coming in onto Concord and Lexington, and the very first battle of the Revolution was going to get started. So Paul Revere lives a few blocks away, was able to see the top of the church from his house. And once he got the signal that the British were coming, he took on his famous midnight ride to Lexington and alerted the troops there, the Continental Army, that the British were in fact coming. Even though I don't think the phrase "the British are coming" is accurate, because they were all British at that time. They all considered themselves English. So they probably said something more like "the redcoats are coming." But we're gonna go and check out Old North Church, and there's a plaque on top of it that says "The Signal Lanterns of Paul Revere, displayed in the steeple of this church on April 1875, won the country of the march of the British troops to Lexington and Concord." All right, let's go check out the church. So I hope you can hear through my mask. Each family in those days would basically purchase a pew, and that was a way of, or a box rather, that was a way of supporting the church. Nobody majorly famous has a box here, so it's not like any of the revolutionaries were here. This was initially a Anglican church, Church of England, and then after the Revolution it became an Episcopal church, and they still have service here every Sunday. I think it's the cool idea, and families are still purchasing those boxes, by the way. I like the idea, actually. It's the pre-COVID social distancing. Okay, so that's the most famous one, Captain Joshua Henry, 1727. And his family and his descendants still come to the church, and they actually purchased Pew 54, which we're going to see in a second. Here we go. Revere pew. Paul Revere's son, John Warren Revere, bought this pew in 1808. They're the famous ducks. The statue of all the little ducks that's in Boston Commons. They have them dressed up, I guess. And this is the Washington Memorial Garden. Pretty tiny. I'd still love to have it. Ducks on parade. It's fun. Okay, so we left the church. It was pretty interesting. I like the idea of the boxed pews, and we are on our way. I believe the next stop is Paul Revere Mall. Where are we at on the map?
I haven't bothered to check.
I think this is Paul Revere Mall.
Mall?
Yeah, a mall is not necessarily a mall. So it looks like the trail is taking us through Little Italy. So plenty of restaurants. We're not really hungry right now. We're gonna hit Paul Revere's house first. I'm still looking for the Green Dragon. I haven't found it yet. And you notice that we are totally unprepared. We barely have a map, and that's about it. That's the way we like to travel, discovering stuff by chance. This is the highlight of my trip. This is Paul Revere's house. It's the oldest still standing house in Boston, which you can visit, cash or PayPal. Unfortunately, no pictures or video inside, so I don't know. I may be able to share some of the pictures from the website, but I'm giving you a quick look of the rest of Little Italy here. But here's the house, and guess who's going in? Me! I'm so excited. It was great. All right, it's literally 3 rooms. Okay, that's it. There's the kitchen, his bedroom, and the kids' room. But then after that, you have the rest of the exhibit that's personal belongings. And then the other one is a little exhibit about the midnight ride. It's very well done. There's somebody in each room to answer questions. It was fabulous because I'm so excited. My day is done. I don't care what we do after that. I'm done. I've seen what I needed to see, and I'm good. We're still on the trail. We're going to what's the name of it? Fagno? I don't know how to pronounce it, guys. Fagno Hall. Here's the Green Dragon Tavern, 1773, 1776. This is the one where they supposedly plotted the entire... You tired? We're gonna eat soon. The entire revolution, and I really want to eat here tonight. So the building itself was demolished at some point, and they rebuilt the whole thing afterwards. So let me pull out so you can see it a little bit better. But this is one of the oldest taverns in Boston. And we're arriving at Fagno Hall. It's that brick building you see in the background. I love the contrast with the modern city. I think it looks really cool. We're gonna go in there and find something to eat and relax for a good hour. So Scott and I are super happy because we finally get to eat the very famous Boston chowder in a bread bowl. That's what we're having. What do you think?
This is good.
He says this is good. I don't think you can hear it. And Willie got a Japanese soup. Udon soup with pork. And Edward is missing in action. He still hasn't figured out what he wants to eat. So I'll update you when he comes back. How was the food?
It was good.
It was good?
Yeah.
We've been waiting 3 days now to be able to have.
Yeah, every place we went to is kind of like, oh, we just ran out of chowder.
Everybody was running out, so we got we finally got a clam chowder, and it was delicious. Now, if you are from Boston and you know Boston very well, you're probably shaking your head, going like, oh my God, they just went and got the worst possible clam chowder you could get.
We tried.
Right, we didn't care. It was delicious.
Yeah, at some point you realize, hey, we're here for only a short period of time.
Right.
You know, the Fagno Hall version is going to be it.
It's going to be it.
Quincy Market.
Quincy Market. So that's where we were. We ate at Quincy Market, and it used to be the major marketplace for Boston back in the 1800s, and then they made it a food court. You know, and there was a lot of choices, but it was good to rest. And the Boston cream pie was meh. To me, it was meh.
It hit the spot.
It hit the spot, you know, when in Rome. Okay, so we're back on the trail. We're heading towards the old courthouse, which was the site of the Boston Massacre, and the old granary, I think it's called Granary, cemetery where Paul Revere is buried, and then the State House. That's where we're going.
House over there.
Is it? Okay, the old one. All right, so off we go. totally chickened out. We didn't walk all the way back. We got tired. We did 5.5 miles today, which is not bad at all, considering that we are homebodies and never go anywhere. But we got to take pity on Willie and Edward here, okay?
I was totally willing to walk up.
You wanted to walk? Yeah. Willie, you weren't willing to walk, right?
I was
I don't
fine doing
exercise
it.
as much.
Okay, well, we decided to take the subway. And let me tell you, the subway in Boston, it was not all that obvious to figure out. Okay, we had to ask people.
Yeah, the New York subway is a lot easier to figure out. The Philadelphia subway is easier to figure out.
It's kind of like the Parisian subway, like you really need to know what your exits are. But anyway, we're walking back. We still have to cross the bridge. We did the whole Freedom Trail. It was great. It was great.
It was cool.
I'm concerned that my microphone is not going to pick anything because of the wind. So if it didn't pick up anything, I'll put subtitles. We're going to go back to the car. We're going to drive to Bunker Hill Monument, which is like maybe 5 blocks away from where we started this morning. And then we're just going to head back to Plymouth and have a light dinner in Plymouth. It's 50 minutes away from here. We can totally do that. We're not hungry. I mean, that soup was like...
I think the trail is over there.
Yeah, the trail starts over there, so we're good. All right, see you in a bit. Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.